Okay, so the last piece that you probably want to add to your literary analysis essay is the conclusion. This is the final paragraph of your essay that sums up the most important ideas of your essay and ends it on just the right note. So here is my recommended conclusion paragraph formula, not because this is the only right way to write a conclusion, but I think it creates an effective conclusion for your reader that is satisfying and helps them feel like you've drawn your essay uh, to a nice and tidy close. So I recommend the first thing you do is restate your thesis in slightly different words. Sum up for them one more time. What is the whole thing you were trying to prove throughout this essay? Um, Next, you want to give a so what. So let's pretend your reader hated the text that you're analyzing. Why do you think this is still important to them and valuable for them and meaningful to their lives? Why is this theme important in the world? Even if your reader doesn't think the text is important, they can still take away something from the theme and apply it to their own lives. And you kind of want to convince them to do so in this part. And then the final thing that you want to write is a final thought. What is the last thing you want sort of echoing in your reader's mind when they put this essay down and walk away? I think of this as the boom, drop the mic, Catherine out. You want it to end on just the right note so your reader knows that it's over, go home, credits roll, and they're not left feeling like, oh, that's it. Oh, okay, that's the end. All right, okay. You don't want them to be sort of startled at the end. You want them to have that nice final note. It's like when a song doesn't end on just the right note. It's a little jarring. It feels weird. It feels uncomfortable. You want it to bring it to a close. Okay, so I'm going to show you a sample conclusion paragraph. And I'm going to use as my thesis this thesis right here that I wrote about Toy Story, because Toy Story is awesome. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is restate the thesis. And my original thesis is the theme of Toy Story is that even people who are very different from one another can find common ground, complement one another, and even become friends. So I'm going to say that in slightly different words. Toy Story is not just a film for children. It also teaches valuable lessons about overcoming fears about people different from us and learning to work together with them and possibly even become friends. Toy Story is not just a film for children, also teaches valuable lessons about overcoming fears about people different from us and that we can learn to work together with them and possibly even become friends. Okay, I'd say that says pretty much about the same thing as I said here in my thesis. Okay, so now I'm ready for my so what? Who cares? Why is this important? All of us, I'm going to try and avoid the pronoun us, everyone at some point in their lives will most likely meet someone that is so different from them that fear or hatred is a natural reaction. However, by learning to overcome that fear, world. By learning to overcome that fear, people can break down many of the barriers that lead to tragedies such as murder and war, and instead work together to accomplish feats they never could have dreamed of. Okay, so why does this matter? Because everyone at some point in their lives will most likely meet someone that is so different from them that fear or hatred is a natural reaction. However, by learning to overcome that fear, people can break down many of the barriers that lead to tragedies such as murder and war, and instead work together to accomplish feats they never could have dreamed of. All right, so that's a pretty solid way to end it. But let me give you another example of a final thought. And you want your final thought to be fairly punchy. Generally, a final thought should be nice and short and to the point, so it's really memorable, kind of sticks in your reader's mind, and really just gives it that final, like, punch to it, so that your reader walks away like, yeah, word. So let me think about what I want to write for my final thought. What is it that I really want readers to take away? I think I want to end with something like, differences, or I think I'm going to start with, depending on how people choose to respond to differences they perceive in others, differences have the potential to either divide us or unite us into, I think I just want to say unite us. Depending on how people choose to respond to differences they perceive in others, differences have the potential to either divide us or unite us for our common benefit. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so let me color code this for you really quickly so you can see where each of the parts is. So this is the part where I restate my thesis. Actually, I'm going to do different color coding. Let's do. No, I'll leave it like that. Otherwise, it's too hard to read. Okay, so my restatement and my thesis is in this sentence. Here's my so what. This is why you should care. And here is my final thought. Boom. Okay, let's see how it sounds all together. Toy Story is not just a film for children. It also teaches valuable lessons about overcoming fears about people different from us, and that we can learn to work together with them and possibly even become friends. Everyone at some point in their lives will most likely meet someone that is so different from them that fear and hatred is a natural reaction. However, by learning to overcome that fear, people can break down many of the barriers that lead to tragedies such as war and murder, and instead work together to accomplish feats they never could have dreamed of. Depending on how people choose to respond to differences they perceive in others, differences have this is why you read things out loud, have the potential to either divide us or unite us for our common benefit. How you like me now? All right, so that is how to write a conclusion for a literary analysis essay. I hope this was helpful.